The Ark Tribunal Hall, a gilded insult, oppressed Ambassador Elias Vaughn beneath its soaring arches, every facet screaming opulence. Polished starwood pillars, banners shimmering with gold nanopiber, and walls etched with the Tyran Empire's ceaseless victories. Each mural depicted the same grim narrative: total subjugation, system after system broken, yielding, bleeding. 100 species observed, a silent assembly of delegates, onlookers, and groveling sycophants. All gazes converged on the human, the sole speaker remaining. High Executive Valath Karn, a formidable presence upon his elevated dais, adorned in resplendent crimson and obsidian ceremonial armor, gleamed like a polished mirror. His voice, amplified by subtle sonic manipulation that commanded utter attention, resonated through the chamber. Ambassador Vaughn of Sol, you stand before the Eternal Concordant to receive Directive 783, Tau Ke declared, a cruel smirk twisting his lips. By galactic law and established precedent, your world, Earth, is hereby integrated as a tributary member of the Concordant Corps. Your tribute shall encompass 10 million human citizens for labor assignment, 20% of your annual raw resource yield, and complete unrestricted access to all orbital infrastructures. A heavy pause. The pronouncement hung in the air like a death sentence. You are allotted 7 cycles to ensure compliance, Karn continued, his tone chilling. Any deviation will be construed as outright defiance, and you are fully aware of our methods for addressing such transgressions. The hall fell into a profound silence, a stillness born of dread, not reverence. Vaughn remained unyielding. Alone on the speaker's platform, his dark, impassive expression was a mask of unreadable resolve. In a space meticulously designed to diminish others, he occupied it with an aura of quiet fortitude. He lifted his gaze to meet Karn's directly. Executive, if I understand correctly, you are demanding our people, our resources, and our very freedom. In exchange for our continued existence. Karn leaned forward, his voice laced with derision. Indeed, you may even retain your terrestrial emblems, provided they fly subserviently beneath ours. The translator units disseminated his sarcasm across 27 distinct languages. A tremor of amusement rippled through the gathering. A few muffled chuckles escaped. Most remained stoic, a somber recollection of their own similar encounters with the Empire. Vaughn's gaze swept across the assembled faces. He noted the Zurich delegate, arms tightly crossed, a nervous tick betraying his apprehension. The Loran observer nervously eyed the nearest exits, while the Goran twins, their mirrored visages reflecting each other, fixed him with an inscrutable, captivating interest. Good. They were paying heed. Vaughn's focus returned to Karn. Your offer is declined. No dramatic flourish, no ostentatious display. Merely 4 words that arrested the very air. Karn's eyes widened, as if the very concept of refusal had never entered his calculations. Declined? You heard me correctly. Karn's voice deepened, resonating with authority. You are mistaken, human. This is not a negotiation. We are not here to debate terms. This is imperial decree. This is the enforcement of our law. Vaughn inclined his head. That much is clear. However, Earth abides by its own laws. A beat of silence stretched. Karn rose from his seat. Do you possess even a faint comprehension of the forces you are invoking, the defiance you are embracing? I do, Vaughn responded with unwavering calm. We have anticipated this juncture for a considerable period. You presume your modest planet can withstand the might of the Empire, Karn retorted, his voice rising. You believe you are the first to challenge us. No, Vaughn affirmed, his voice steady as bedrock. But we are resolved to be the last who are compelled to do so. Karn's features hardened, his hands clenching into fists, the metallic knuckles emitting a soft, rhythmic clicking. "I could order your immediate apprehension." "You possess that capability," Vaughn conceded. "Yet you will refrain, for you are not without intellect. You are aware of Earth's prolonged, uncharacteristic silence over the past several decades. You have never queried its origin." A palpable shift occurred within the audience, curiosity supplanting their earlier disinterest. The air of amusement had dissipated, replaced by an intense, focused attention. Vaughn advanced to the platform's edge, his voice measured and deliberate. "We integrated with the Concordant and observed. We absorbed information. We cultivated our strength in quiet, patient development. We meticulously studied every species, every system, every conflict you initiated, every entity you dismantled." Karn's lips parted, but no sound emerged. "We did not announce our presence with great fanfare," Vaughn continued. "We engaged in meticulous preparation." A new wave of murmuring swept through the crowd. Astonishment mingled with outright disbelief. "You still perceive us as emerging from primitive origins, fractured and vulnerable, clinging to outdated ideals." Vaughn paused. "But that is the narrative you have constructed for yourselves. In that case, Executive Karn, Earth is not your tributary. Earth stands as the ultimate admonition." The room erupted, not with audible sound, but with a flurry of agitated motion. Delegates exchanged hushed whispers. Translators buzzed with frenetic activity. Guards tensed, their stances shifting defensively. Vaughn remained serenely still, his words already propagating through 1,000 communication channels across the entire Concordant. Karn slammed a metallic fist onto his podium. "Then this signifies war." "No," Vaughn corrected, his voice devoid of any tremor. "This is a measured response." He turned, proceeding towards the exit with an air of unhurried composure. 2 Tyran guards advanced, their movements uncertain. Karn hesitated, then snapped his fingers. The guard stepped aside, yielding passage. Vaughn did not glance back. Emerging into the muted green sky of Aresh, Vaughn entered his shuttle and sealed the hatch. "Ambassador BAI pilot," he transmitted, his voice resonant with purpose as he fastened his harness. "Secure channel active. Authorization code, Melon Omega 3. "Proceed," a voice replied from Earth Command. Vaughn's voice, now imbued with an unyielding resolve, stated, "Initiate Protocol Phoenix. Silent ascent is concluded. We are proceeding with full disclosure of our capabilities." As the shuttle ascended, Earth receded behind him. But in the deepening cosmic void, something else stirred, no longer silent. The very instant Elias Vaughn uttered the words, "We are proceeding with full disclosure of our capabilities, Earth." From Iceland's dark waters to Sichuan's hidden tech vaults, a signal pulsed through secret relays and buried command posts. For the first time in 60 years, Earth's full defense protocol activated, not with panic, but with purpose. On Luna's far side, veiled in dust and shadow, a dozen warships materialized. Their sleek obsidian hulls hummed with latent power, displaying familiar national flags. But one emblem stood apart, Earth, outlined in silver, bisected by a rising flame. The UTDS Aegis led the fleet, a dreadnought-class vessel absent from any concordant logs, a ship without a past, for it was never meant to exist. Aboard its command center, Admiral Yara Sinclair observed a holographic table as red dots shifted across sectors. "They've activated Directive 17, she stated, her voice calm. Vaughn's voice crackled through the encrypted line. 33 ships, Admiral. A heavy blockade formation across the Sol perimeter. No ground incursion yet." Sinclair remained impassive. "Give them time. Karn's too proud to start with subtlety." "Understood. Do we proceed with nightfall?" "Not yet. Let them think the net is closing. Let them feel confident." Yara nodded. "Silent ascent dies today." No, Vaughn corrected. It evolves. Executive Karn, aboard his command cruiser, paced his war chamber, a storm of anxious officers scrambling to track Earth's movements. But there were none. Earth remained eerily calm, without protest, appeal, or panic. "Where is the response?" Karn growled. "Why aren't they mobilizing?" "Perhaps they are in shock," his intelligence aide ventured. "They may surrender quietly." "They won't," Karn snapped. "This human, Vaughn, he knows something." A slow smile spread across his face. He turned to the hollow map and stabbed at Earth's icon. "Send a shock. Hit their moon base. Let them know who commands the stars." Luna Prime, a civilian hub primarily scientific and home to families, held no weapons or fleet. The attack came without warning. Tyrant pulse torpedoes turned habitat domes into glass vapor within 90 seconds. 3,024 souls perished, with no survivors. The footage went viral across the Concordant. News channels broadcast flames reflected in shattered helmets drifting above the cratered plains. The tyrant's message was clear: compliance or cinders. Yet Earth did not mourn publicly. 3 hours later, it responded. A tyrant military depot on Droax 3, a fortress world deep within the Concordant core, ceased to exist. No ships were detected. No missiles were launched. Orbital cameras went dark mid-frame, and when they returned, the depot was gone. Not exploded, but erased. Glass turned to bedrock in one instantaneous energy sweep. Footage revealed a single symbol burned into the soil beside the crater: Earth. Below it, in a dozen alien tongues, 4 words: "We watched, now we act." In the Goran Assembly Dome, Ambassador Vaughn stood before the Unaligned Races Council. The session was not yet formal, but the tension was palpable. Dozens of smaller powers had gathered, curious and now nervous. The Varkali speaker leaned forward, their tenny twitching. "You destroyed a core asset. That's suicide." Vaughn clasped his hands behind his back. "No, that was arithmetic. You cannot win a full war with the tyrants." Vaughn tilted his head. "Define win." The Goran twins, seated on merit thrones, spoke in unison. "Your planet is small, your fleet is unknown, but you speak without fear." "Why?" Vaughn asked. "Because fear is the tyrant's only weapon, and it only works until the first shot is returned." The chamber stirred. "We have evidence," Vaughn declared, activating a display. "Decades of atrocities the tyrants buried. We decrypted the logs and shared them with your intelligence networks." Images filled the room: mass labor exports, resource plundering, executions of dissenting diplomats, colonies starved into surrender. You let it happen because you thought no one else would resist. But we will. We are. You can too. A moment of silence followed. Then the Zircon delegate whispered, "You mean to break them?" "No," Vaughn replied. "We mean to free you from having to fear them ever again." Back in Sol orbit, the Aegis hovered behind Saturn's shadow. Dozens of cloaked strike cruisers fanned out, deploying mirror drones invisible to concordant sensors. They listened, mapped, and tagged every tyrant ship for future targeting. Admiral Sinclair watched the data stream with quiet satisfaction. "We're tracking 90% of their comms," she reported. "They don't know we've been inside their network for years." Her aide, Commander Haynes, exhaled. "And they still think we're primitives. They'll learn." On her command, Earth launched Operation Ice Veil, the first digital salvo. Tyrant long-range sensors across multiple sectors failed within 4.3 seconds. No alarms were raised, for Earth's AI ensured they wouldn't be. To the galaxy, Earth remained still, quiet, submissive. Inside, it was sharpening its blades. Executive Karn felt the shift, even if he didn't understand it. Tyrant subcommanders were suddenly blind. Outposts failed to respond. Surveillance flickered. Reports were inconsistent. Panicked. But Karn dismissed them as coincidence. He summoned his top strategists. "We strike Earth directly within days. No more empty threats. A full planetary assault," one captain protested. "But we still haven't confirmed their capabilities." "I don't care," Karn roared. "If they refuse to bow, we shall incinerate them." He remained oblivious to the discreet transmission that had just leaked as he spoke. Back on Arashk, hidden within a secluded tower, a young Goran observer received the vital data, and a slow smile spread across his face. The galaxy was poised for transformation, and Earth had already initiated the change. The Tyran fleet never anticipated Earth's swift retaliation. Above Sol, 30 warships floated in a menacing high blockade formation, their hulls illuminated with ethereal blue plasma runes. Their purpose was to instill dread, to cast a chilling shadow over a world and force its submission. But instead, they now projected an unsettling vulnerability. Inside the Tyran dreadnought Varkan's Blade, Commander Tysil monitored sector sweeps. Nothing. No ships, no movement. Just an unnerving silence. "Why is Earth so dark?" he muttered. "No power fluctuations, no transmissions, no calm relays. Too quiet." Tysil then watched as the stars themselves seemed to blink. Every Tyran vessel flickered for a solitary moment, as if reality itself had momentarily skipped a beat. Tysil froze. Something was gravely wrong. Below deck, backup systems shrieked to life. It was too late. Across the entire fleet, Earth's AI payloads, long ago embedded within innocuous data pings, activated in perfect, synchronized unison. Reactors shut down. Targeting systems went irrevocably blind. Engines disengaged, sending them into uncontrolled freefall. Entire fleets had effectively disabled themselves in absolute silence. One by one, the ships dimmed. No alarms blared, no countermeasures were deployed, only a slow, creeping realization dawning upon them. They were no longer in command. Then, the Terran vessels decloaked. The UT dots appeared like specters conjured from myth, flanked by 30 stealth cruisers. Every hull bore the same matte black armor. No insignia, no identifying marks, just a formidable presence. Admiral Yara Sinclair stood on the Aegis's bridge, arms folded, her eyes betraying no flicker of emotion. "Status?" she inquired calmly. "Blockade is blind, ma'am. Engines dead, weapons locked out, deaf and adrift." Sinclair offered a single decisive nod. "Then we disengage." One transmission, wideband and far-reaching, reached every ship. "You violated our skies. You murdered our citizens. Earth responds not with vengeance, but with justice. Leave your vessels. You will be recovered. Resist and vanish." In under 5 minutes, 87% of the Tyran blockade surrendered. The remainder attempted to reboot. The Aegis opened fire. No grand spectacle, no screaming beams of light, merely precise kinetic lances fired at exact structural seams, depressurizing bridges, disabling reactors, and gutting warships without harming a single escape pod. The entire blockade dissolved before anyone within the Concordant even grasped what had transpired. Far across the cosmos, on the core world of Tyran, High Command Executive Karn stared at a live feed of wreckage drifting over Earth. "No," he whispered. His aide entered, trembling. "High Executor, 12 colonies have just declared neutrality. The Varkali have defected. The Zirkin are offering aid to Earth." Karn's voice quivered. "This cannot be happening. They were nothing. They were silent." The aide replied softly. Karn rounded on him, eyes wild. "Mobilize the core fleets. All of them. I want Earth's moon cracked in half by dawn." "Sir," the aide stated with respect, "our comms are compromised. Our relays are down. We cannot coordinate anything beyond our immediate orbit." "Then do it anyway," Karn bellowed. "Launch the planetary assault. They don't get to win." On the other side of the galaxy, Earth moved first once more. In Sector Valion, 6 Tyran shipyards exploded within the same 10-minute window, not from external attack, but from within, sabotaged by AI subroutines Earth had implanted years prior. No energy signatures, no warnings, only vapor and silence. The galaxy watched, and then it shifted. Species once bound by fear to the tyrant's throne began to stir. Quietly, decisively, the Loran Confederacy refused to fuel the next wave of Tyran warships. The Goran twins published archives of Tyran war crimes across the stars, and the Helio Assembly dispatched a public message to Earth. "We no longer recognize Tyran authority. What do you require from us?" Back on Arashk, within the Concordant Hall, Vaughn walked to the central podium, unescorted. The room buzzed like a disturbed hive. "You were told we were primitive," he stated. "That humans were loud, unpredictable, backward. You believe that because you wanted to." He raised a hand, and holographic projections of Earth's silent operations illuminated the air, sabotaged outposts, hijacked drones, Tyran war councils decrypted in real time. "For 50 years, we played the role you wrote for us. We smiled, we learned, and we built." He paused. Not an empire, not a rebellion. A reminder that fear is not power. It is borrowed time. From the shadows, the Zurich ambassador slowly stood. "Are you declaring war on the Concordant?" "No," Vaughn replied. "We are removing a parasite from it." Karn refused to flee. He chose to strike. Ires's defense grid powered up, orbitals glowing like dying suns. A full battle group moved to intercept the approaching Terran fleet. Except Earth didn't send one fleet. It sent 5. Simultaneously, cloaked dreadnoughts appeared over Ka's fortress, over Tyran shipyards, over staging grounds buried deep within the crust of ancient asteroid fields. They struck not with bombs, but with chilling precision. Fuel lines, sensor spires, and control centers were rendered inert, not destroyed. Executive K's pleas were lost, his power dwindling sector by sector. Then, the Aegis materialized, gliding through the orbital perimeter unimpeded, observed in silent awe by the Concordant. Inside his command tower, Karn's realization dawned. "We were the ones being studied," he uttered, as the glass behind him fractured and Elias Vaughn entered, flanked by armored operatives. Trembling, Karn faced him. "You came to kill me yourself?" "No," Vaughn replied. "You're not worth the bullet." He advanced. "This isn't conquest. This is closure." Karn collapsed, his reign of terror a memory, as Vaughn noted. Executive K secured around the galaxy. Millions watched it happen live. Tyranny had a face, and now it had fallen. The tyrant empire crumbled not with a bang, but a sigh. Within 3 days of Karn's capture, 37 worlds renounced their oaths, tribute routes evaporated, and garrisons surrendered. The Empire's iron spine of fear snapped. The skies fell quiet, devoid of fleets and threats, save for the Terran flagship, UT Dos Aegis, a silent sentinel above the capital. On the surface, Karn was placed in containment, not for display, but for quiet. Earth sought no trophy, only silence from those who had once roared. Elias Vaughn stood before the Concordant Assembly, unescorted, in his familiar black diplomatic suit, now a symbol of unwavering conviction. The room, usually abuzz, hung with a palpable tension as every species awaited his words. He saw apprehension and hope in countless eyes. fixated on the human who had dared to say no and truly mean it. Vaughn approached the podium, speaking without notes. 70 years ago, Earth joined the Concordant. We were ignored, dismissed as young, loud, insignificant. We accepted that. We watched, learned, paid our dues. While others took, we prepared. We did not come to rule, as the tyrants did. We sought no revenge, mistaking weakness for strength. We came to draw a line. A hologram ignited, displaying Earth encircled by stars, the tyrant's emblem dissolving. "That line is simple," Vaughn declared. "No more tribute. No species will be plundered, taxed into ruin, or dictated their future by the loudest bully. Their future belongs to them." From the Goron delegation, one twin queried, "And who decides what replaces the old order?" Vaughn met her gaze. "You do. All of you, together. The Concordant was meant to be a union, not an empire. That era ends now." Tapping his wrist, screens flickered to life, revealing Earth's proposal, the Sovereign Accord, a new charter, crafted not by generals, but by minds steeped in linguistics, ethics, and history. One species, one vote, a shared defense pact, no tribute, no preemptive strikes, only voluntary alliances and mutual protection. The Lauren delegate inquired about Earth's role. Vaughn's reply was unwavering. "Equal, not more." The silence that followed was more profound than any applause. Then the Zircon ambassador raised a hand, accepting. The Varkali, the Zurich, and then one by one, wings unfolded, heads bowed, lights blinked in affirmation. A cascade of agreement echoed. By hour's end, 82 species had embraced the accord. The Concordant was not dismantled. It was reborn, and Earth had not claimed the throne, but had dismantled it, inviting all to share a seat. High Executive Valeth Karn sat in his holding cell, his vitality gone. Vaughn entered alone, two men meeting in a moment of profound reversal. "You should have destroyed me," Karn murmured. "That's the difference between us," Vaughn replied. "You would have needed to." Karn's eyes flickered, a mix of shame and animosity. "It doesn't matter what happens to me now." "Trial, exile," Vaughn stated. "History will remember you, but not as you hoped." As Vaughn turned to leave, Karn's voice stopped him. "You think you've ended empires? Another will rise." Vaughn glanced back. "Then we'll remind them too." Back on Earth, the world exhaled. Families emerged from shelters, children gazing at the stars with wonder, not fear. The Terran Defense Protocol powered down, fleets returning not to conquer, but to rest. In a quiet meadow near Reykjavik, Elias Vaughn stood with his daughter, watching the sunset. "Did we win?" she asked. "No," he replied. "We remembered who we were." "Will they come back?" She tilted her head. "Someone always does." "Then what?" "Then we do what humans always do," he said, crouching beside her. "We stand, we adapt, and we never forget." Weeks later, a simple plaque was installed in a marble hall deep beneath Geneva. Here stood Not. To prevail, not merely to dominate. To inspire, not just to command. To reveal how fear shatters, how resilience can endure in quiet strength, and that the cosmos has always been within our grasp. This conflict did not elevate our world. It brought it to light, not as a forgotten passage, but as a testament, a solemn vow, a designation spoken with deference and, if required, dread.